Okay, let me do a sound check. Should we live now? Okay, let me do a sound check. All right, we sound nice. We sound nice. All right, what's going on, everybody? Who 186 back again with a live stream. Pretty much, yeah. I want to do more of these when I get a chance. Like I said, I really had nothing going on. Got a couple hours to kill before I go to work, so I figured I'll, you know, do a video talk about this. And let me see. Anything else I need to do real quick? Let me do the screen share. Yeah, I'm back on StreamYard for a little while. You know, uh, yeah, this is pretty. It pretty much is the best place to stream in my opinion. Screen share. Okay, let's go here. All right. Hopefully you guys are. Hopefully you guys are doing well. I figured I make this video because I saw this video from Kiss Move. Shout out to him. Um, and what else? And I made a comment, and I'll show you guys the comment in a second. But um I also made a comment, and you know got a lot of responses, got a lot of upvotes, and I had some people comment. Most people agreed with me. Some people did not, which is fine. Which is fine. I don't have a problem with people disagreeing with me, but when they try to be stupid about it, is when I'm not. When I don't, I don't tolerate that garbage. You know what I mean? Like I don't tolerate. I'm not going to tolerate bullshit this year. you know. So I'm just going to share this real quick. Yeah, I'm just going to share this real quick. Join the Discord, Overrated Podcast. Like I said, no timetable on our return, but I know you guys are missing it, and I am too. But like I said, real life problems get in the way, and hopefully those problems will. Problems will never go away. You're always gonna have problems, but you hopefully these problems get lesser as time goes on. So yeah. So enough of this. What are we here to talk about? Right. So you see the title. Should Sony put their games on Xbox? Now, for those of you who don't know, um, Microsoft for the past, I'll probably say year or so, have tried to kind of slowly get their fan base into the idea that our games we're going third party. You know what I mean? Pretty much. Ever since all the way back since last year, where Phil Spencer made the announcement of the 4 games coming to other platforms, mainly PlayStation, and everyone kind of seeing through that. You know, it we've seen where some Xbox fanboys didn't want to see it, didn't want to believe it, but everyone who knew what was going to happen, right? When he said, only expect these 4 games, we all knew that was a lie. Because, like I said, and I said this in multiple videos I made before, that this was the end goal. Like this was going to be the you're not putting 4 random games on a platform, on your biggest competitive platform, just for the sake of it. And we all knew where they were headed. We all knew. But first it started with 4 games, and then more games come out. Then late last year, late in the year, late in 2024, they announced Indiana Jones, which was a big title for them, and a game that, from what I've heard, is critically acclaimed. What I mean, excuse me, what I've heard is good from some people. That was going to come out on PS5 in the spring of 2025, which we're only a couple months away, right? So we all knew that this was going to happen with a vast majority of their titles. Now, there are some games that they have in the ti- in the timeline that are now announced for PS5. You know what I mean? Avowed hasn't been announced. Obviously, we know Starfield hasn't been announced. And the big three, right? As Kiss Move would have coined it, Halo, Gears, and Forza haven't been on the PlayStation yet until a couple days ago when they announced Forza Horizon 5 coming out on PS5. Right? So this is the first of their core franchises that is coming out on the PlayStation, right? And I think with Smooth video, I'm not gonna play the whole video. I'm just gonna play this one part. He seemed to be accepting of the situation, right? He kind of accepted, hey, this is what they're going to do. It is what it is, right? Now I don't know if he really feels that way, because Kiss Move is obviously a diehard Xbox guy, and he's been through the trenches in the console war. You know what I mean? He's been through it all. You know what I mean? But he seemed to be, based on this video, seemed to be resolute in his accepting of this news. But he did have one plea to Sony, and I'll play it right now. Page. Hopefully you guys can hear this.
But just get back to the point.
Okay, let me do it. Let me see if it plays. Give me 1 second. Let me see if it plays on. If it plays on, because I want to make sure. The audio is good. If it plays on, because I want to make sure. Hopefully you guys can hear it.
But just get back to the point.
Okay, you guys can hear it. All right, so let's go on. Let's hear what Kiss Move had to say, and then I will respond in kind. So let's hear it.
If I was Xbox and how I would do it, knowing that, hey, there's nothing I can do. I still got to make money. I still want to sell my consoles. I still got Game Pass subscriptions that I'm trying to push. One, I would do much better marketing, because marketing is the number one thing with this stuff. I still need to market so people can still buy my Xbox and still subscribe to Game Pass. So marketing is number one. But what I would do more so for goodwill is like, hey, like I got PlayStation here, I got Nintendo here, I got Valve and all these people here. I got Meta. I'm supporting all these platforms and helping. I'm looking at PlayStation. I'm like, dude, we got to have some goodwill here, bro. Like, I'm giving your customers the marquee basis. Yeah, I'm going to make 70% of everything that sells on those consoles. These games are going to sell, but you know what I mean. At this, because I'm making this decision, I'm making your platform default the premier platform essentially for people to go to. If exclusives are what matter that much, you guys got to kind of work with me as a goodwill. Is there any IPs that you'd be willing to bring over? And I know it sounds like I'm port begging, but I've said this a million times before. I don't want all PlayStation exclusives on Xbox, but I do think there's some that they can afford to give up, like Spider-Man. I think that's the only thing that needs to really come over. Helldivers, Spider-Man is only because, and I think Spider-Man only because it's a universal IP. Shit's been out on PC for hella long, and Spider-Man 2's been out over a couple years. Go ahead and throw Spider-Man 2018 and fucking Miles Morales on the Xbox. You can do that. You're getting Halo, Gears, and Forza. Halo, Gears, and Forza. You're getting the big three. You can't give us no fucking Spider-Man. You can't give us no Miles Morales. You can't give us no Aloy. You can't give us no Lego Horizon. Come on. Throw us a bone. Give us something.
If a man really hated ads, here's what he...
All right, that's pretty much it. All right, so you hear what he's saying, right? Like, he said he's not port begging. You know, it is what it is. Here's the thing, and I think he knows this, and I think most people know this. But if you're in a position of strength, like PlayStation is when it comes to Microsoft, why would you? Why would you help the competition? Like, I think people need to realize this. Regardless of what Microsoft believes and whatever it is Microsoft wants to, wants to do with their platform, at the end of the day, Sony still sees them as competition. Moto, what's going on, man? How you doing? Like, still sees Microsoft as competition. So they're not. So, and also, let's be frank and let's be real here. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Good, man. Yeah, I'm chilling too, man. Just trying to get this video off. So here's the thing. Like, Sony, why would Sony like? And I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to fanboy war here. I'm kind of done with it because, console war stuff is not don't pop the same no more. You know what I mean? Ever since the whole, Microsoft deciding pretty much moving as a third party company, like the console war stuff is not entertaining to talk about. And to be told, I haven't been particularly happy with what Sony's doing. And there really is. Right now, all I really want to concentrate on are individual games, right? Like, Fatal Fury gonna come out soon. Definitely looking forward to more information on Virtua Fighter. But I do have lots of other things going on in my life as well. So console warring is just not my thing. But I get that some guys still wanna fight this console war, but at the end of the day, like Sony still sees Microsoft as a competitor. And also, like I was gonna say, um, why would Sony? And I said this in the comment section. Let me get to the comment section right here. Um, let me see. Where I go to chat? Okay, there we go. There we go. Scroll down. There you go. So you got 97 upvotes, right? Yeah, hopefully you guys can see. Look at all the replies. Okay, right here. If you guys can't, let me see. If you guys can't see, I'll highlight it. What happened to Xbox games on Nintendo? I think they're definitely doing some of that too. Um, I mean, you look at the whole GoldenEye thing, right? They had I think Microsoft had obviously Microsoft owns Rare, and even they let some of their devs work on a Nintendo on an N64 port. You know what I mean? On N64, remake or port or whatever. So yeah, Microsoft they're moving like a third party company, pretty much. And some of those games will come out on Nintendo as well. But when it comes to like fanboys and especially Kiss Move is always like Xbox versus PlayStation, right? That's always been like the main rivalry. So let me highlight what I said here. All right, I don't see why Sony would put their games on a platform that actively encourages its audience to not buy games. And obviously, I'm talking about Game Pass. Now, obviously, I when I had an Xbox, I had Game Pass, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I wish Microsoft would release better games over the years that I had it, but overall, it's a good deal to have. I would argue it's the best deal in gaming. I do believe that. But with that, with the deals and the caveat that a every game that we release, I'm talking about Microsoft, every game that we release that is made by us, those games are included into the service. You don't have to pay for it. As long as you pay for the service, you're good. obviously we know why Microsoft we're pushing these $100. When you make a service, in my opinion, at the time, they were still trying to compete with Sony, and they're trying to find had to do something, drastic, and Game Pass was that. But what does Game Pass do inherently? It encourages you not to buy. It encourages you. I'm not saying like I still bought games on the Xbox when I had it, but I didn't buy no first party exclusives because I knew they were coming out on Game Pass. I knew it. So it discourages you to buy games on the platform. And I think, and if I noticed that, realize that as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would they? Like, I just don't understand. Now, let's say this: if Sony decided tomorrow, okay, you know what, we're gonna put Spider-Man on PlayStation, would I be upset? I mean, not really, because like, truth be told, like, it is what it is at this point. We know what these companies. The main thing with these companies now is to make money, right? That's what their main intent is, right? Like we've seen how they're moving with PC. Even Sony with some they're dealing with Nintendo has seemed to be more cordial over the years. Now, mind you, I grew up in an era where these companies hated each other. You know what I mean? Like these, they were act. You're like most of you're a fan of Game Pass. Yeah, I mean I am too, but it is the reason why Sony would, at least in my opinion, would never put their games on Xbox, right? So yeah, so what was I saying? Right, so back in the day, these companies hated each other, right? They were extreme competitors, and you look at nowadays you look at what Sony's doing. They want to maximize their profits on some of these games. Now they had the whole thing with when they canceling all these free to play games that they were making. I didn't make a video on it because I didn't care, and I'm actually kind of glad that it happened because um, I think Sony and thankfully with Jim Ryan being gone, and hopefully with the new structure that they can get their shit together. But yeah, man, like I just to me, I think what Sony is they want to make money on their software. And when you have a platform that has a service like Game Pass that encourages their audience not to buy games, this is what you're gonna get. So because I don't believe that Sony can make their money back on these games, just putting them on Xbox. Because let's be real, and I said it before, and I don't want to sound mean when I say this, but it is true between Sony, Microsoft, Valve, Nintendo, all the major gaming fronts. Microsoft of the Mount Rushmore is the most irrelevant. You know what I mean? I don't think Sony sees a healthy return on their investment. Putting their games on Xbox. Maybe on Nintendo, yeah, maybe, but then obviously with the Switch and the Switch 2, we know the Switch is not powerful enough to run some of those games. You know what I mean? And we don't know much about the Switch 2, but I don't think the Switch 2 is gonna be powerful enough to run those games either. Smaller games maybe, but like their big budgeted games, no, I don't think so. Right? That's why Sony has pivoted heavy on PC. Because that pretty much is an unlimited amount of people. Like I don't know off the top of my head how many people are on Steam, but it's definitely a lot of people. a lot more than Sony and Microsoft. So if you have that, why would Sony put their games on Xbox if they have this caveat of people buy the least amount of software on that platform, and they have a platform that encourages people not to buy games via Game Pass? It just to me it just seems like business wise it just doesn't make sense. Now again, if they decide to do it tomorrow, it is what it is. It don't really matter to me anymore. You know what I mean? Because console gaming pretty much is, I wouldn't say it's on life support, but it is definitely getting there. Because I'm not happy with what Microsoft been doing. I would rather them be have console exclusives. But they're gonna go their own way. It is what it is, right? So I just don't think that I just don't think that it's financially feasible for Sony to do so. I just don't. And the fact is, Microsoft, you can tell that they're dependent on it. Because here's the thing. They were putting their games first on PC. You know what I mean? They were putting even all the way back to fucking the OG Xbox. Now, obviously Halo 2, I believe, never came out on PC. But the original did. The original Gears came out on PC. You know what I mean? They have the history on putting their games on PC. And yet they still feel the need to put a portion of their games on PlayStation. Why? Well, you really think, why would they? Because at the end of the day, they're at a point where Sony just outsells them by such a wide gap, hardware-wise and software-wise. Because if they just decided, we're just gonna put the games on Steam, or they have their own storefront on PC. In theory, wouldn't that be good enough? In theory, no. They know when it comes to console gaming, they want that PlayStation money. It is what it is. And the fact that Sony had decided at this point in time had decided not to do that kind of tells you all you need to know about the situation that both these companies are in. One company are pretty much forced to do this, and the other one is Sony don't need to. They don't need to at this point in time. So why would the company with the higher leverage put their games on a smaller platform? For goodwill? This is throw you guys a bone? No, business don't work that way. And I'm not a businessman at all. I'm not like some business major. I'm just someone who from reading stories and reading articles about businesses, that's not how they operate. It's a cutthroat business. So this plea, throw us a bone, goodwill, I'm sure Microsoft has been like, okay. You hear a while ago Phil Spencer complaining about Helldivers 2 being exclusive, where technically it's not. It was on PC, but you can tell he's frustrated that game's not on Xbox. You know what I mean? You can tell he's frustrated by that. I'm sure Microsoft would want Sony to be like, hey, you can give us some games. I'm not saying Kid's move is not being, I understand his rationale. But as a business, normally they don't act that way. Now again, that can all change tomorrow. It can all change tomorrow. But the reason why I said what I said here is because I just don't see why Sony would do it. Financially, it just doesn't seem to make any sense. It just doesn't, because if Microsoft had enough people buying games on their platform, they're not putting their games on PlayStation. You know what I mean? They're not. And Sony knows this. I'm sure a lot of this stuff came out during the whole FTC thing. So, yeah, man. To me, I just don't see. I don't see why Sony would do it. I'm not saying they should or shouldn't. Like I said, I would prefer console gaming to go back to its roots, but I know how things are now, But even just financially, I don't see why Sony would do it. Right. So as I'm scrolling down in the comment section, the vast majority of people, you have people commenting and they're replying to each other. But as you can see here, like I got 97 upvotes, and that's not just me doing that myself. Like a lot of people agree with what I had to say. There was one guy, however, did not. Let me see if I can find his sting right here. Where's he at? Give me 1 second. I should be able to find him. We should move replies. So yeah, most people, okay. Big Mojo 41, right? He says no one encourages anybody not to buy games. They give us a choice with select games. Grow up, kid. Right? So he's being disrespectful. And thankfully, I didn't go at him super hard because I didn't really feel like it. But I just I figured he was a little kid, so I didn't want to shit on him. My reply to him was the select games being. Hold on a second, give me a second. Let me highlight it here. This is my reply to him. The select games being the top games on that platform that consistently promotes a subscription service with said games being available at no extra cost. So pretty much what I'm saying is that he's saying that they give us a choice with the guy. That's what the guy's saying. He gives us a choice with the games that they have. Yeah, it's their biggest games that they're putting in it. It's their biggest AAA games. And if they're putting them on a subscription service at no extra cost, why realistically, why would any Xbox gamer just out of the blue just buy a game just to support them? I mean, I understand. I know Kid Blue said something like, "Oh, he would buy those games to support the devs." I get it, but for someone like me, if you're telling me I can play Forza Horizon 5, which I already have, I played the game, I beat the game, I like the game a lot, right? Why would I buy it? Why would I buy the game if they're giving it to me for free? Basically, all I gotta do is pay the subscription service, and I have access to the game. I'm not buying the game for $70 or whatever. I'm not doing that. They give me the option, so I'm not. Why would I buy it? And when you do that, what are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? You're encouraging your audience not to buy games. And listen, I'm not a diehard Xbox fan, but I'm their audience because when I had the Xbox, I'm their customer, and I know for a fact I'm not the only one. So continuing on. Okay, just because they don't outright tell you to not buy games, don't mean that it's not the hook Microsoft is banking on for success, and that's true. That's the reason why they bought. This is the reason why they created Game Pass. That's why, because they wanted to make their own subscription service, to make to put their games in, to entice people to go into their ecosystem. Because after the debacle of the Xbox One, they needed something. They needed to do something. And he made a reply to me saying, I buy games and I have Game Pass. I never felt I was being told to not buy games. Y'all just to invest in how other people play their games, and if it's not on your platform, it's bad. Now this is where I got frustrated with this dude, because he was trying to create a narrative that wasn't true about me caring about how people do their platform. That had nothing to do with anything. Nothing to do with anything. All I said was that I don't believe Sony would put their games on PlayStation. That's it. And the reason why they wouldn't do it. Now let me reply to the first part. Like, I buy games and I have Game Pass. I never felt I was being told to not buy games. Right? That's perfectly fine if you don't feel that way. But I guarantee you a lot more people do feel that way, including myself. I I made it, and I said it in my next reply to him. Let me see. Okay, this is it right here. This is my response to him, right? So I might really hear. What? Who said anything about the games on Xbox being bad, right? So I'm replying to the stupid shit first. This is about whether or not Sony is willing to sell their games on a platform that they likely still see as competition, which is true. Don't sell nearly as much software in order to justify doing so. Yeah. Okay, and then when I had an Xbox, I had Game Pass and still bought games on it, cheap games. But my mindset was, I don't buy Xbox exclusive anymore. And when you provide a service that don't incentivize buying games, people notice. That's what I said. And Steve will. I think I told Steve this one time. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Speak of the I'm not gonna call him devil. Speak of the I don't know if I should. I don't think I should call him angel either. Speak of the good man. What about putting certain games on Switch like Lego Horizon and Astrobot? I mean, it is what it is, man. Like, it is what it is, right? Like, it made sense for them to put Lego, because Lego do big numbers on Switch, right? It does big numbers on Switch. So if Sony decided, we're gonna put the game on Switch, it is what it is. Now, I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is. And yeah, I did get rid of my Xbox because financial problems. Yeah, I had to get rid of it. And I remember, I don't know if you know this, Steve. I remember telling you this a long time ago. That the reason why I bought the Series S, right? Because I remember I told you I wasn't buying with Game Pass. I wasn't buying, physical games anymore. I didn't need to. I didn't need it. If I was invested into the Xbox ecosystem like that, I would have bought the X, and still would have bought this game for it. But because of Game Pass, I was like, I don't need. What am I buying a disc for? Like, one, obviously for one, it doesn't have a disc drive. You know what I mean? And two, and more importantly, why would I buy the games? I could just get them. I just get them on Game Pass. And I don't know if you remember, but I remember telling you this. That's why I got the white console. You know what I mean? So if it happened to me, I guarantee you it happened to other people. And that's what this dude that I was replying to didn't understand. You know what I mean? Instead, he just started assuming stupid shit about me. And, it is what it is. And then, he replied back, again, this narrative that don't make any sense. You worried about buying the games and not playing them. When you fully have a choice that I don't understand. It's cool to prefer something else, bro. That don't mean you have to shit on how everybody else plays video games. $6 grow up. And I said it right here. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I see that you're not smart enough to have a conversation about this, right? So truth be told, I was lenient on him. Maybe it's the energy that I was on. Normally when it comes to people who test my patience, I kind of like to blah at them, but I was lenient on him. But truth be told, he wasn't smart enough to have the conversation. He wasn't. All right, so Steve, said, but the problem is, even though you have I'm assuming games through Game Pass, you still don't own the game. It's far different having a service than actually owning the games. That's why you buy the X and not the stupid S. Well, here's the thing. I didn't care about owning those games. I really didn't care about owning the game because all I wanted to do was play them, and then that was it. All I wanted to do was play the games. I didn't care about owning the games or having a physical disc for it. I didn't really care. When it comes to like PlayStation And when I had the Switch, it cared a little bit more. But when it comes to like Microsoft and the Xbox, I really didn't care because I had Game Pass, and that was my way to play the game. So I didn't give a shit about not owning the games. I didn't really care about that. I just want the game that they had. I just wanted to play them. And of all the games that could come out on PlayStation in the next couple years that I would buy again, there's really only one game that I have on Xbox that I had on Xbox that I would play again, and that's Halo Infinite. That's really it. I like Halo Infinite a lot. So that's pretty much why I did what I did. All right, so I had one more reply. He had one more reply to me, and I had one more reply to him. All right, so he said, "I'm not smart enough because of different perspective. You worried about the wrong things. I own all platforms, and Game Pass has been good to me. Sorry." Again, like the reason why I said that you're not smart enough is because of that reply. Not one time did I imply to you that having Game Pass was bad. I never said that having Xbox was bad. The only thing I said, and my only comment was that I don't believe that Sony is putting their games on Xbox because financially it doesn't seem like it's the right fit for them. That's all I said. So all the other stuff that he was coming up with just made no sense. And like I said, I have a low tolerance for stupidity. You know what I mean? Like if you're listening, Big Mojo, if you're listening to me right now, I respectfully, you're not smart enough to have the conversation. You're not, because you're making up comments about stuff that I said that I didn't say, and pretty much what I said here. I'm not like it here. No one's worried about anything. I'm just telling you why I think Sony isn't going to release their games on Xbox. Pretty much what I said. Let me see. All right, so you said that. So Game Pass made you not care about owning the games despite wanting to play them. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I don't. When it comes to like owning the game, like I didn't really care. Because if I really cared about owning the games, I would get physical. And also, I'm not spending an extra $200 for a Series X. I'm not spending $500. I remember telling you this. I'm not spending $500 for a secondary console. I just can't. I just can't do it. I spent I spent over $800 for the PlayStation 5. You know what I mean? It came with a bunch of other stuff too. But but I spent that much money on the PlayStation 5 because that's going to be my main console. So why would I spend $500 on a secondary console? That was just my rationale, and because of Game Pass, it gave me because of Game Pass and the cheaper S, it gave me an avenue to play some games that I wanted to play on the Xbox at a cheaper price. You know what I mean? Like it just made sense money wise for me. It just made sense money wise. So yeah, man. So I mean, I don't really have much else to say. I will say this though. Going all the way back to Kiss Move and the stuff that he said. Like I said, I no, this is not a hate video or nothing like that. I'm a big fan of Kiss Move. Right? Love his content, love him on Weapon Will. I'm a big fan. Right? But like companies do not operate off of goodwill to other companies, to other competitors. At least when growing up, that's not how this worked. That's not how that works. You know what I mean? Like, and it just doesn't work that way. Right? Should Microsoft? I mean, I'm sure Microsoft would want to have PlayStation games on the platform. Absolutely, I'm sure they do. But I mean, financially, it just doesn't. At least in my opinion. And again, this is just an opinion. It's an educated opinion, but it's still my opinion. I don't know. I don't work for Sony. In my opinion, I don't think financially it benefits them to put their games on a platform that doesn't sell enough software. We all know they don't sell enough hardware, but they don't sell enough software. They just don't. It just doesn't make sense for them financially to do so. At least in my opinion, I don't think that's the case. Now, when it comes to like Forza Horizon 5, I've already beat the game, so I'm not gonna buy the game, right? I'm not gonna rebuy the game. Like all the Xbox games that they've come out with are either games that I played or games that I already that didn't interest me, right? Now, the only Xbox game that I can see myself replaying if it releases on PlayStation is Halo 5. It's Halo Infinite, excuse me. Halo Infinite is really the only Xbox game that I bought that I would buy again and play it on PlayStation. And one last thing. Now, obviously, with Forza Horizon 5 coming out, now we know. So you will buy Xbox games that released on PlayStation. If they interest me, yes. Like I mean, we'll get to this and then I'll go. Now, remember the game that they announced last year during their Game Fest was Gears of War E-Day. Pretty much a prequel to the first game. Now, I said this during I saw a Patreon video from BG. Shout out to him. And I'm going to say this here. Now, again, this is not a prediction. This is just me assuming what's going to happen. I believe Gears of War E-Day will come out on PlayStation and come out on PlayStation Day 1. I do believe that. Now, and if it comes out Day 1, and it's and the thing is, I played Gears 4 and 5, and I do like both games, but I do think that the multiplayer is too rigid for my liking. If they make significant changes to the multiplayer, obviously we all know shotguns, roadie run, crowd chain shotgun. That's the main gameplay loop, and I don't have a problem. With that. I just wish more of the other guns were more useful. I just wish that was the case, and I wish the movement was more dynamic. If they do that, I would gladly buy it on PlayStation. Absolutely, I would. Even if I have to wait a couple months. Like, I mean, since I don't have an Xbox anymore, yeah, I'll definitely wait for it to come out on PlayStation if there's a wait. I don't think there's going to be a wait, though. I do think that game's going to come out day 1 on PlayStation. And when it does, I do believe that will be the breaking point for a lot of Xbox dudes, right? There's some Xbox dudes are still fighting the good fight, right? They're still, they always find ways to justify, what Microsoft is doing, saying it's a good thing and all the other garbage, right? Stuff they would not have said 4 or 5 years ago. But I believe if Gears of War E-Day comes out on PlayStation Day 1, I think it's over. I think a majority of those dudes are going to break, and it's going to be donezo for them. Some of them might be on special watch, if you know what I'm saying. The way some of these do care, they might be on a special watch list. And I'm not going to say I'm not going to say the word, but start with an S. You know what I mean? They start with an S, and you're going to put a watch behind it. You might have to put them on that watch. Because, again, I do believe that's going to happen. So, yeah, man, I pretty much it. I don't really have much else to say. Like, this was coming. This was a long time coming. Everyone who wanted to see it knew this was coming. It wasn't going to end with 4 games. I said it. Multiple people have said it. We all knew what was going to happen. And, this is going to continue. It is what it is. Anyway, this will be 186. I am out. Thank you guys for watching. Malta, Steve, thank you guys for commenting. Excuse me. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video out when you get a chance. This is 186. I am out.